Hello, lovely people of the world.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
This is Justin and Sarah and baby Sabrina.
Yay, she made it. We made this video today to address your concerns regarding Sabrina's first year highlights and the controversial salute.
If this is first time seeing our video, welcome to our channel. We normally do family vlogging, but today it's a little special video because it will be reaction to your comments in one of our previous video. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Justin Sarah Park.
First of all, our sincerest condolences go out to the victims of Auschwitz and their families.
As we commemorate the 75th anniversary of liberation of Auschwitz.
Okay, just to be very clear, it was never our intention to offend anyone. Anything else? Please understand, we created a compilation of private, personal home videos featuring Sabrina's highlights during her first year of life. Yeah. Exactly. Some clips were heartwarming, while others meant to be funny.
The salute joke was never meant to offend anybody. It was meant to be a joke and should have been taken as a joke. We never had any hatred in our hearts when we made the video. We're gonna start this video by dissecting the joke in question, and then we're gonna talk about discussion points regarding the joke or the salute. The timestamps for each of those bullet points are in the description section and also should be on the screen as well. So let's get started with dissecting the joke first.
Here we go.
You'll notice the entire video we had the rapid fire of one-liner jokes. Throughout the video, we were using the same pattern of joke. We are personifying baby as a grown-up by giving a grown-up behavior to baby Sabrina. For example, if you take the waiter joke, we are personifying a grown-up who happens to be a waiter, and we're personifying that image onto a baby.
Because she had the burp cloth over her arm.
If you were to have done that with a actual grown-up, a grown-up pretending to be a waiter, then there would be no joke. There is joke only because it was done by a baby. Another example would be the interpretive dancer. If a grown-up would have been doing the interpretive dancing, then it wouldn't be a joke. We are personifying a baby with hypothetical person who happens to be an interpretive dancer. And for the joke that in question, we are personifying baby with a hypothetical person who happens to be doing the salute.
That video that featured her first year highlights was basically a reflection of how we as a family enjoy toying around.
Have you guys seen the TV show called Kids Saying the Darnest Things? It's a show where they invite kids to a stage and they would ask a bunch of questions. Oftentimes kids will give grown-up answers to those questions. And of course, kids are mimicking their parents. And that's why it's funny when kids say grown-up things.
Or other adults, right?
Right. And when we're making the video in question, we were thinking of something like babies do darnest things, where we'll capture babies doing some of the grown-up things, like being a waiter or being a dancer. The joke was on the gesture itself. We did not say any disparaging remarks about the Jews or the victims of Auschwitz or any non-Aryans.
He's referring, of course, to the controversial salute on our video.
In the video, we did not imply a connection between the gesture and the broader spectrum of all things that are associated with the gesture, like what the gesture means or what time period that gesture was implied and what are the belief system of people who use those gestures. We did not make those connections and we did not imply those connections in the video at all. Yes, we know there's a connection between the gesture and what the gesture means. However, the joke did not explore that territory. Again, the joke was a one-liner zinger that did not require a setup or require viewers to make any kind of mental connections between the gesture and anything else. For example, the waiter joke. That joke was on the gesture itself. We did not ask the viewers to make a mental connection between the gestures and all the things that are associated with waiters, like what are the demographics of people who work as waiters, or what percentage of them actually aspires to be in the showbiz. We did not make you to make any of those meta connections. And for the salute joke, it doesn't require viewers to think about what time period the salute was used and what was the belief system of the man who coined the salute. You don't have to make idea map in your head in order to get the joke. The origin of the joke came from a TV show that we've been binge watching when Sabrina was 1 month old. The TV show that we are talking about is called Man in the High Castle. It is set in a hypothetical world where the Nazis and Japanese Empire won the World War II and America was occupied by the Nazis and Japanese.
Okay, spoiler alert, you guys.
In this TV show, there's a character named Joe, and he is playing a double agent. He is part of the resistance group who's fighting for their freedom, and he is also part of the ranks of the Nazi officers. And in the show, you would see Joe doing the salute multiple times throughout the seasons. And when we saw Sabrina raising her arm, we immediately associated with the TV show that we've been binge watching the whole week.
At the time. Mind you, at the time, Sabrina has no understanding and was not even present in the room when Justin and I were watching Man in the High Castle. She was always asleep during that time. So we found it humorous that a little innocent baby was able to somehow perform a gesture that was depicted in the Man in the High Castle TV show that we happened to be watching.
And we did the same thing with the Bird Box. We just finished watching Bird Box on Netflix. And when we saw Sabrina pulling her headband over her eyes, essentially to blindfold herself, we immediately associated that gesture with the movie that we just finished watching, the Bird Box. We put those specific clues in our video so that we can reminisce about it years from now. Years from now, when we look at the video, we can remember snuggling up against each other and binge watching a very gripping TV show. And we want to remember those moments, and these specific clues would help us remember those moments.
When Sabrina came into our lives, we felt that it was really hard to keep a record of every single wonderful, beautiful moment, and sort of like remember it, like try to go back years from now, try to go back and reminisce and remember the joys behind it and what we were doing at the time, how young we were and all that stuff. So that's the reason behind the compilation of personal home videos, was so that it could help jog our memory decades later. We enjoyed binge watching The Man in High Castle at the time, hence the salute reference, right? And we thought it was funny how Sabrina was sort of playing charades with us by doing all these gestures from the things that we recently watched on TV. If you guys haven't seen The Man in High Castle, we highly recommend you check it out. Maybe then you'll understand that we most definitely do not support anti-Semitism. I mean, Justin, Sabrina, and myself would have been totally wiped out by the regime during that horrible time many, many years ago. So why would we be supporting that?
So then now we've dissected the jokes, let's talk about some discussion points. Okay, first point, humor is subjective. Everybody has different sense of humor. We don't expect everyone to laugh at all of our jokes. And the topics in which a joke can be made of is also subjective. Some people think one topic can be made into a joke, other people would disagree. And nobody is in charge of this master list of all topics that are funny and all topics that are not funny.
Yeah, there's no court that would have the power over deciding what topics are funny and what topics aren't. All of us are different in our own respective ways. We are our own individuals, and the fact that we're all different makes us beautiful and unique at the same time. Due to our differences, we are also bound to say or do something that might not sit well with others. If you happen to find that your values, beliefs, practices, morals, and sense of humor is not in line with ours, then by all means, please do not feel obliged to continue to support our channel, as we do not wish to offend anyone by simply being ourselves.
Right, in the upcoming videos, we're gonna have a lot more jokes, and some of you might find those offensive just by the nature of their jokes.
And some of you will not even find our jokes funny and just find them cheesy. You know? That was a lame joke. But that's who we are. In case you guys are new to our channel or have not seen enough videos to be able to draw your conclusions regarding what our channel stands for, our channel is all about love, understanding, acceptance, perseverance, family, and a ton of fun. I'm gonna shut it up.
Some people in the comment section were demanding that we change the caption or edit out the salute or even take down the video. You're welcome to make any suggestions, but if you're demanding that we change something to your liking, then now you are infringing upon our freedom of speech and censoring our creation.
That's right.
Let's remember how censorship started in Nazi Germany, and it ultimately ended up with Auschwitz. And it's important to learn from the mistakes from the past so that we don't repeat the same mistakes.
We all have the right to self-expression and freedom of speech. We have the right to not take the video down and come up with this reaction video to clear the air. Just as you have the right to take offense and unsubscribe. You have every right to disagree and post hateful comments.
And by the way, we did not delete any of your comments.
YouTube also reserves the right to delete certain accounts on YouTube, and they also reserve the right to delete comments. That has nothing to do with us.
If YouTube moderators thought that your comment was a hate speech, then they would delete those comments without even notifying us that they deleted those comments. So we have no idea which comments have been deleted.
That's why we're very surprised when a bunch of you are accusing us of deleting your comments, because we were not notified by YouTube that they did that.
Some people think that joke that has any mention of the word Hitler in it is automatically offensive or automatically a hate speech. But context matters. You can mention the word Heil and Hitler in the same sentence and did not mean any hatred or did not mean to offend anybody. It could be in the context of educating people of the definition of the word, or it could be in the context of teaching you about the history, or it could be a part of a movie script or part of a lyric or a joke. If you watch Comedy Central's roast, then you'd be surprised how often Nazi jokes come up. The next point, challenging boundaries. Our YouTube channel has always been about challenging boundaries, challenging traditions, norms, and conventions. And we always done it from a place of love. We did all those things not because we hate something or someone, but because we love something or someone. Traditionally, Koreans are only allowed to marry other Koreans. We challenge that tradition not because we hate Koreans or that I hate my parents, but because I fell in love with Sarah. And Sarah challenged her religious belief that Muslim women should only marry Muslim men. Not because she hates Islam or she hates her father.
Or other Muslims.
Right, but because she fell in love with me. Some Asians in the comment section were saying that we should take down our videos because in Asian culture, you're not supposed to air your dirty laundry in public space and that Asian children must obey their parents.
And a few people were demanding that we take our previous videos down because it's a sin for a Muslim woman to be marrying a non-Muslim man.
And more recently, we had a gender reveal party and some people got offended at that because they thought it was offensive to gays and lesbians. Some people demanded we change the title to genital reveal because
a person's body parts should not determine their sexual orientation or preference later down the road.
But we did not give in to those demands.
We did not make any changes to our gender reveal party because we wanted to stay true to ourselves and not adjust just to please other people around us.
There's a traditional notion that some topics are taboo and that we're not supposed to talk about it. And we're here to empower people to challenge those notions. I'm not saying every challenge is a good thing, but as long as you do it from a place of love and you do not infringe on other people's freedom of speech, then you're gonna be okay. I want to empower people to not limit their creativity, whether you're writing a movie script or lyrics or jokes, and not to be afraid of what other people might say. Especially from the people who still subscribe to those traditional notions that you're not supposed to talk about certain taboo topics.
And also, we're not imposing our views and our practices onto any one of you. That's just who we are and how we do things. So we want to stay true to who we are and be a good example to the next generation, including our baby Sabrina.
When more people are talking about mental health openly, less people are going to say, "Don't be a baby," as a response to somebody who's going through depression. When more people are talking about Holocaust or Auschwitz openly, less people will be triggered by the image of the salute. and accuse one another of being a Nazi supporter or having anti-Semitic sentiment. In 1950s, if anybody were to talk about or joke about or have an intellectual discussion about communism, they're immediately accused as being a communist supporter and called names like commie or commie dog. And fast forward to 2020, we made a lot of progress on that aspect. And nowadays, you can talk about communist ideas and not be accused of being a communist supporter. And I hope the same thing could happen with certain topics like Holocaust or Auschwitz. That maybe 50 years from now or 100 years from now, people could talk about or joke about or write a movie script about Nazis or Holocaust or Auschwitz and not be accused of being a Nazi supporter or having an anti-Semitic sentiment. In order to make that change, we need to make baby steps starting today. And I hope the people watching this are empowered to do so, empowered to challenge boundaries. As a result of putting up the video in question, we inadvertently raised the awareness of Auschwitz. Some people didn't know who Hitler was before watching our video. In fact, we saw this on local news the other day that 1 in 5 Canadians do not know about Auschwitz. And those 1 in 5 people may have Googled the word to learn more about it after watching the video.
So in a way, we helped raise awareness about the victims of Auschwitz.
And it is important to learn significant moments in the history. For example, what happened with the Nazi Germany. Hitler had promised that as long as they get rid of all the Jews from their community, that they're gonna have economic prosperity and they're gonna get their jobs back. Some people in the country supported him, and then that eventually led to Auschwitz. If more people are aware of this, it's less likely that same mistake will be repeated.
Once again, we're very grateful to each of you who have showed our channel and our families your support and love over the years. And we truly appreciate those of you who continue to do so, despite our flaws and differences. As for those of you who felt the need to unsubscribe or no longer continue to support our channel, we thank you for your time, for following our story, and we wish you well for the future. We're positive you'll find other channels that are more in line with your values, your beliefs and practices, and most importantly, with your sense of humor. Again, we never meant to offend anyone. Later down the road, if you decide to come back and check out our videos, you're always welcome to do so. We respect your decision to unsubscribe, and you have every right to post hateful comments if you wish. Let's all please remember that life is way too short to be harboring hatred, anger, embarrassment, and to be criticizing others around us.
But remember, YouTube moderators might take your comment down if they think it's a hate speech.
Yes, and
it has
remember,
nothing to do with us.
Exactly. Let's aim to create peace, harmony, to be more understanding with one another, to be more accepting of all our differences, and to keep an open mind. We believe true happiness comes from within. You just share the love and kindness in your hearts towards others without expecting anything in return. It all starts from within and from choosing to be your best self, so that you can in turn be the better person that you would want to see in others. Ultimately, we're hopeful that someday our little Sabrina here will be able to look back on this video and learn from it.
We're hoping that this video will serve as a teachable moment for Sabrina in the future,
as well as for others. People around the world, and most especially our little Sabrina, would learn to stand her ground, to stand by what she believes, and to stand by her action, and also not to back down. Not to give in to the demands of the people around you, but to do what you feel in your heart tells you is right, and to just continue to be yourself and to just be proud of who you are. Never second guess yourself for the sake of pleasing others. All right, you guys, to summarize this video, our deepest sympathies, our heartfelt thoughts, and our sincerest condolences go out to the victims and the families of the victims of Auschwitz. We also touched on the controversial salute that a lot of you had concern about, that was posted in our video that highlighted Sabrina's first year of life. We spoke about freedom of expression and our right to self-expression.
and humor is subjective.
We touched on the fact that we all have our differences, and not only does that make us beautiful and unique, but it also can result in a clash of opinion as well as in disagreement as to what topics are to be used as a joke and what topics are not funny. We spoke on the difference between a joke and hate speech. We spoke about challenging the boundaries and raising awareness to people who haven't heard of Auschwitz. Once again, thank you so much, you guys, for watching our videos, for continuing to support our channel, for being patient with us, because our lives have taken precedence over filming videos, but we really try our best to put as many videos as we can out there. We want to thank every single one of you for showing us your love and support, and for continuing to share your comments in the comment section. For loving us for who we are, accepting us despite our differences. Thank you, Lovewood standers out there who did your best to defend us. We really appreciate every single comment from you guys, as well as disagreeing comments that were posted as well. Thank you so much, because like we always say, what doesn't kill you makes us stronger. So we hope that this experience would make us stronger. Yeah, we hope you guys just continue to follow us in our story.
Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.
We love you, Lovewood standers. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.
The 75th anniversary of liberation of Auschwitz. Liberation of Auschwitz. Liberation of Auschwitz.
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 This is gonna go into bloopers, isn't it?
That joke was joke on the gesture. That joke was a joke.
Blooper Reel. Hey, go. You need to distract her. She won't take puffs, so don't even bother.
Really?
Yeah. No, just put stuff in the bag. She keeps taking it out. And put it back in and she'll take it out. Victims of Auschwitz. And publishing and putting out Sabrina's first year highlights.
And it is
Another sentence with that.